We're Laura and Cindy, and you're listening to the Holistic Horsemanship and Husbandry podcast, where we talk about natural horsekeeping and deepening your connection with your horse. I'm Laura, your horse care mentor. I teach natural horse management practices after working with over 200 horses and seeing how current industry standards are compromising the health of the horse.
And I'm Cindy, your horsemanship mentor, offering a proven and unique approach to creating deep connections with your horses from 20 plus years of experience, including working with wild Mustangs. If you enjoy this conversation, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to us so we can get this podcast into the ears of more passionate horse people. Today's episode is a continuation of the conversation that we had about you are your horse's voice. You are the one who knows your horse better than anybody does. If you haven't listened to that episode, I hope you will, because this will make more sense. However, you don't have to. So what we want to talk about is when you see those horses in various modalities, trail trials, rodeo, cutting, roping, reining, Western pleasure, out on the trail, hunter jumper, all those things. When you see those horses that just seem amazing, you know, the horse that we all wish we had, right? We want that. And if we have a horse who is not there yet, but that's our dream, is to have that, because admit, we feel much safer on a horse like that. Which, you know, the first thing that I want to say is oftentimes when you see somebody riding a horse like that, it's not just the horse. It's a phenomenal rider. It's a team. And so the reason I want to point that out is, as a horsemanship mentor, and I've trained horses. I don't so much train horses anymore as much as I train teams, partnership. But there's still a lot out there, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, and that's okay. That's why we're here. There's some out there that promote 30, 60, 90 days of training. Oh, bring your horse to my place for 30, 60, 90 days of training.
Well, and they promote, I know better than you, therefore I should do this for you.
That's true. And sometimes I don't know if know better, but we do know more. Why?
Yes.
Because we put more time in.
Right.
Hopefully we're in this industry because it's a passion. And so we're mastering our skills. So yes, we do know how to help your horse. However, what I think as an industry we are failing as the expert, as the professional, is, and this goes back decades and centuries of traditional horse training, where, we put 30 hours on that colt, we put 60 hours on that mare, we put 60 days on that mare, 90 days on that horse. He's good to go. That's not true. He might be good to go with that trainer, because the trainer has the feel and the leadership and the ability to make that horse do what he wants to do. And sadly, I do say make, because many with that 30, 60, 90 day mentality are making a horse do it rather than teaching the horse how to have a voice and a choice, which is one of the things Laura and I are both huge on. 30 to 60 to 90 days equals less than 30 hours, less than 60 hours, less than 90 hours, because any trainer that understands horses at all knows that they need time in between training days to soak. to rest, to process what it is we're teaching them. But we don't share that. Many, I'm not going to say we, because that's not me and it's not Laura, but many don't share that. They make you think your horse is in 30, 60, 90 days, because reality is we all have horses on a budget and we want to get the most bang for our buck. But in reality, that is not what is best for the horse. So we as professionals are failing the horses and failing the horses' humans by not properly educating them on the expectation of what putting them into a time-framed training program actually truly does. The other thing that I have learned firsthand as a horse owner and as a horse trainer is that what that trainer can achieve in that time frame is not at all what is now solidified in your horse's behavior and his education. It's just an introductory, like if you started taking martial arts for 30 or 60 or 90 days, how many days are you going? How many hours, and how proficient will you truly be at it? So we, as the professionals, are failing by not fully helping the client understand that those horses we see that are amazing, no matter where, you could just be at a clinic and there's people participating with you. And their horses are like, oh, right? It inspires you to keep trying. Well, what you need to understand is that those pairs of human and horses have actually committed to the relationship and the partnership, and they have put in the time. And, one of the sayings we hear is, I put the time in the saddle. I put, they've put the time in with wet blankets. No, that's not what we mean. We mean meaningful time building the relationship and the partnership. And it's a commitment that doesn't just happen in 30, 60, 90 days. It happens in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. There's no quick fix.
Yeah. I can just tell when I'm trimming a horse for someone. I can tell the owners who have put the time in with their horse. The whole energy of the whole situation is just different. That owner is never disgusted with their horse. I've got a new client who has a mom. The mom horse is like 28 and the daughter horse is like 15, and they both stand like fairly poorly. Like, but the owner like knows her horses. She's not, oh, you stupid horse. It's, well, the 28-year-old has arthritis and it's uncomfortable for her. And the 15-year-old is just a sassy, sassy girl, and she is making me earn her respect before she's gonna stand nice. And their mom stands there and kind of giggles a little bit because she's like, these are my girls. I'm not gonna change them. And it's lighthearted. Is that nobody's mad? We're working with these horses. I've trimmed them twice. They got much better on the second time. I know they're gonna be better on the third time. But that is an owner who has put in time and understands her horses for better or for worse. Admittedly, she has not put in a lot of time hoof handling. So they're not that great at that. But it's honest, it's out there. It's not the stupid horse isn't making up for my, failings as a person.
Ready to unlock true freedom with your horse? Join Unbridled Freedom, our private Facebook group for women on a spiritual journey in horsemanship. We don't fix our horses, we transform ourselves. This is your space to embrace challenges, celebrate victories, and deepen your bond with your horse. If you're ready to lead with wisdom, compassion, and inner peace, join us today. Let's dance with our horses as one. The link is in the show notes below. You know, how many clients, I see it everywhere I go. How many people actually, and I am guilty of this. I'm going to be transparent here. I am guilty of when I am the client. How many times do we feel embarrassed or guilty for our horse's behavior, just like we do our children, right? Like this is a product of our abilities, and when they're misbehaving, somehow we've failed.
Right. I mean, and that is just the patriarchy right in our faces. Control, control, control. If you don't have control, there's something wrong with you. And we have to look within and let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because the best of the best of the best horses and people have shitty days.
oh yeah.
And and I can't go out there and say, okay, herd, Laura's going to be here on the 28th. And you all just need to rise to the occasion and be the very best you can be, because I'm a trainer and I'm a horse gentler, and I need you all to like not make me look bad.
Right.
You
And
know,
as soon as you present with that energy, Dreamcatcher is going to be like, oh, lesson of the day.
well, to be the double troubles,
Yes.
the Harry and Perone.
Yes,
They'll
Harry's
want
going to
to
be like,
be,
how do you like that dirt, Laura? Does it taste good? You want some more?
he'll be biting you and kicking you and rubbernecking, trying to wrap his head around your waist. And, so we work with living beings. And so Laura and I were talking about, there's a lot of programs out there. And there's as many YouTube videos as there are programs, probably more. And what helps a horse owner be, I want to use the word successful. And I guess you could, but is that like an A, B, or C type, is that grading? But what what helps you to achieve your desired outcome best? Enrolling in a program, going to a whole bunch of clinics, watching a ton of YouTube videos. Sorry, I have my cat trying to take my curtains down. Or finding somebody that you resonate with, you love how they engage with their horses. You love the results of what the two of them can do together. And then one step further, you watch that individual, no matter what horse they pick up, meaning put the reins in their hand, the rope in their hands, whatever, when they begin to dance with that horse. No matter what horse they pick up, there begins to be a rhythm and harmony. And Laura and I were, talking about all those different programs and how they all mean well and they all can do well, but there's something that has gone south in all of those programs. And is it the students, or is it the creator, or is it the ones who have stepped up and said, I believe in this so much, I want to teach it?
So, Pat Farrelly, Lonnie Roberts, even I am not a Clinton Anderson fan, but I will throw him in here anyway. Buck Brannaman, Carson James, like Warwick Schiller, the guys and gals who are doing the online and clinic model and have the horse training progression, we wouldn't be talking about those names if those names haven't pumped out a bunch of horses that people, horse and human pairs that people love and respect and want more of.
Hmm.
Like there is a million people who have tried to be that and haven't made it. Some of them because they were bad at business, although they were very good at horses, and some of them because they weren't that good at horses. And they didn't make it because of that. And the other side of the coin is there's a million people who have gotten a Pirelli horse, a Monty Roberts horse, a Clinton Anderson horse, a whatever horse, and had to significantly rehab that horse from its perception of that training program.
And it's not that the program was bad. Remember the telephone game that we all used to play? We all get a whole line, and we do this at team building, corporate team building, to help people understand how things get miscommunicated. And so there's 50 people in a line, and one person says a statement to another or a paragraph of something to the person standing next to him. That person tells the next, and so on down the line. And by the time it reaches the 50th person, it is nothing like the first person said it. And the reason that I like that analogy is because each time a professional teaches somebody the skill, depending on, are they going in depth? This is what we're doing. This is why we are doing it. This is how the horse is receiving it. This is what it means. Teaching them how to read what the horse is doing instead of just saying, do this, 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 and this. It's what this is what it should look like. Now go. Because without the theory behind it and just teaching the techniques, it's like that telephone game.
Yep.
And the ones who suffer are the horses.
Yep.
And those are the horses that come out of these well-known programs with tremendous mental and emotional damage.
Yep.
And who's responsible? You know what I mean? Who's responsible? I think it starts at the top. The top, but then the top can't be totally responsible because you learn something, like Laura's learning a trade. And as she gets proficient at it, she's adding in her own things that work for her.
Right.
I've learned a program, and over the years, I have adapted my own way of delivering the skills, not the program.
Right.
So,
And even if I'm just following A, B, C, D of my program, that means every single foot that I pick up is perfectly balanced when I put it back down. And that is not reality.
right.
I wish it was, but there's a million different reasons why I can't perfectly balance every single foot, every single trim.
So it's like a lot of,
And is that my instructor's fault? Like, not really.
no.
That's
Is it
on
even
me.
your fault?
Well, yeah, and sometimes that's on me. Sometimes that's on the horse that won't stand still. Or the
Right.
owner that's standing there very impatiently, like, why aren't you done yet? It's been 15 minutes. I'm like, well, because you called out a specialist. This is not a 15-minute trim. Like,
Or you've made a recommendation and they don't follow the recommendation. And so you show up the next time.
and I'm like, I needed you to work with your horse's feet, or I needed you to treat that thresh, or we needed more turnout or more movement, and nothing has happened.
Right. So I think we're all responsible, but I think really where we're going with this is when we bring a horse into our lives, we are making the commitment to be the steward of that horse,
Yes.
to be the voice for that horse,
Yes.
to be committed to the relationship, just like a marriage, a partnership. You are making the commitment that I am all in. And in doing so, what I have found as a trainer and a mentor is that I will be working with my students and they are growing tremendously from where they were. And then all of a sudden, one day they show up and they say, well, I was watching videos on YouTube And so this seemed easier or better, or the horse respond seemed to understand it better. So I've been doing this. And first of all, I'm like, okay, was what we were doing not working? But all right, everybody has their free will. And then I asked them to show me, and it may make sense to them, but you can clearly see that it makes zero sense to the horse. Or it's not honoring the voice or the choice of the horse. And I was probably 8, 9 years into my mentorship program with my mentor. And I had somebody saying, hey, so and so is going to be here doing a clinic. It was one of those big names. Is going to be here doing a clinic. It's a 3-day clinic. Do you want to go with me? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, I mean, this person is amazing. You don't want to go? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because what I'm doing is working. And for me to go and get input and different techniques and skills from somebody else is only going to confuse me and my horse. And I am committed to being the best I can be for my horse. And that was the commitment I made in 2000. And this was 2010. And I'm like, I won't do it. And they're like, well, how are you ever going to grow? And it's like, I am going to know when that day comes that this mentor is no longer good for me. And sure enough, in 2018, he changed. His own personal shit showed up. And he was not the mentor that I had studied with for now 12 years. And it was like, I can clearly see you no longer have anything to teach me. And that's when I went out on my own. But ballroom dancers, martial arts masters, anybody in the equine athletic performance realm, whether it's hunter jumper, any of those guys, they find a mentor that resonates and lifts them up and makes sense and calls them on it when they're not showing up, and they stick with them so they can master their skill.
And that mentor is giving them feedback. It is not just I'm watching videos and trying it on my own. It is a relationship. I don't really care if it's on the computer or in person, but they're watching what is happening between you and your horse and talking to you about it and giving you feedback. They're not just telling you to do something and you're going and doing it without any eyes on you.
Right. Like there's we've actually had her on our podcast quite a while ago, who is a phenomenal horsewoman. And what makes her phenomenal is that she has her 2 or 3 mentors that she's been studying with for over a decade. She is phenomenal in what she does. I'd love to go take some clinics with her. I'd love to study with her. And actually, I'm going somewhere with this. She travels the world giving clinics, showing up, giving 3 days worth of in the personal lessons. And she has 2 young kids. And she's like, there's not enough of me for my own horses, for my own growth, for my children, and for the people I want to serve. So she signed up with a business coach and has created her own online membership. So if you can't afford to go work with her, you can join her membership. And you always she has group gatherings on Zoom. So it's not like you never get to talk to her.
Right.
Also, if you go to one of her clinics, she's in your area and you get 2 lessons in the 4 days that she's there. You can then join her online program and continue to study and grow. And you can even get personal coaching where you send in Zoom videos. That's where those online videos are handy, not just some random YouTube,
Right.
because a lot
So,
of
from
that
a
stuff out
business
there.
perspective, the point of a YouTube video is to get you interested in what that person is doing on a surface level so that you will go deeper with them.
Right.
So, if you're only ever on the level of YouTube, you are never getting the nuance and the details and the if this happens, then this happens, and here's the common mistakes. And if your horse struggles in this way, then that's how we fix that. And if your horse struggles in this way, then that's how we fix this. And, super sensitive horses may need a little more time here, and horses that default to shut down may need a little more time there. And that nuanced if then when is what makes successful horse human teams. I put my stick here, my rope here, and my intention here, and then you go do it, damn it, does not make successful horse teams.
No, because what you're not seeing in that video is really the horse part of it,
Right.
or the reason. For me, what sets me aside from others is I don't only teach you the skill, I teach you the theory behind it. I teach you what it means to the horse, not just what it means for you, not just what you should be looking for. But it's not fair to the horse or the trainer when a client is looking for the quick fix without wanting to put the time in.
Mhm.
And then the horse and the trainer are the ones that get the blame. And the horse owner, takes no accountability for their lack of commitment and participation.
Right.
So the whole point in this conversation is if you want that horse we've always dreamed of, it begins with the commitment to be the person that that horse has always dreamed of.
Yeah.
And I say that loosely because in all honesty, I don't know how much horses dream for a human except for the one that just puts them out to pasture and, feeds them and forgets them. But
No,
not
I think
really,
they
not
do.
all. I mean, there's like
They
Rocky.
dream for the healed versions of us that are
Well,
letting go of you're 7 years old, so you should know this by now, and you're embarrassing me, or I've tried this a million times and it still hasn't worked, so I'm embarrassed that I can't, all they want us to let go of their shit, let go of our shit, and show up as our authentic, connective selves. And then they absolutely want to connect with us.
Right. The other day, I've given my horses a month off here, which we're ending. We're coming to the end of that month. And the other day I was out in the arena, which has two of my pastures on either side of it. And I was spraying weeds, driving up and down and spraying weeds. And I had to get out to do something. And I got back in and I looked over, and Rocky had his head hanging over the arena fence, just staring at me. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And he just kept staring at me. And I could literally, as an animal communicator, what I was hearing and feeling from him was, can we please do something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you please take me out and let's go do something? And it just made me kind of smile and chuckle. Was like, oh, you're ready.
Yeah.
You're done being on vacation. You're settled in. So yesterday we did go out and play. So, not I was kind of joking that the horses want us to feed, forget them. Those are the ones that haven't been treated well. But
Well, and I think there are times that we can all look at a time in our horse human relationship where our horses wanted us to feed and forget him because we were struggling with something and we weren't coming to the table in a very productive and healthy manner. And that's part of being the expert on your horse is realizing when you are creating that dynamic and doing something different.
and recognizing that your horse is
Oh,
actually trying to say something to you, they're not just being a jerk.
yeah,
I mean, maybe they are being a jerk, but they're mirroring the jerk inside of you.
right. So it all comes down to In order to be that expert, to be the number one person who knows what your horse is thinking and knows what they need, you have to become a well-educated horse person. Behavior, like I will admit over and over again that riding is my weakest point of my horsemanship. And, I really want to find that riding specific mentor. Like, don't tell me how to communicate with my horse. We have that handled. We have that handled so much that MJ told poor Jamie Watkins, who you will probably just heard an episode from, and her co-facilitator, Monica Clark, to go F themselves because we don't need extra energetic communicators to help us. We have this handled. And I had to tell MJ to calm down and accept help, that it will be okay, and that they are here to make us feel lovely and bring us to another level, and that this is a good thing and we can trust it. But that is an interesting thing that we're both mirroring that guarding around our relationship. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it's very interesting. But my whole thing is like basically I have put in a decade of figuring out my horsemanship philosophy. I know when I want to add pressure. I know when I want to step back. I know when she's trying to get away with something versus really needing some extra support. And I don't want someone telling me how to handle that, but I certainly could use someone saying, sit better in the saddle here, set her up for that transition better. Like, oh, she popped her rib cage out here. Let's support her. Let's straighten her up. Like all that stuff. That is my hole because I've spent the last decade in the horse behavior, horsemanship era, and it is probably well and truly time for me to start studying riding a lot more. And knowing where that hole is within yourself helps you be more compassionate. So if I'm out riding MJ and she's not really like doing the fancy move I want her to, I'm like, well, whose fault is that? Okay, well, maybe we'll give her a minute. Are you asking for that clearly? Oh, let's tune into your body. Oh no, that damn left leg is squeezing again when you wish it was relaxed. Well, there you go. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever looked at your horse and wondered if they're thriving in your care? Is there more you can do to give them the best life possible? Most ranches and boarding facilities are set up for convenience, not horse health, but there's tons you can do to fix your horse's situation if you're willing to get creative. Join Evidence-Based Horsekeeping, my Facebook group where members learn how to improve the mental and physical well-being of their horses. The link is in the show notes.
And that is an example of the commitment that if we can make for our horses and for ourselves, we're really going to make progress. And searching for that mentor. I mean, when you're first setting out, you're not gonna know who your person is to be your mentor. And so, yeah, go check out some clinics. Yeah, check out some of the videos. But you're not so much looking for, are they making this horse, is this horse really doing good? Is that what I want? What you're looking for is, does what they're saying and doing resonate with my gut?
Yes.
Does the horse look happy? Does the person look relaxed and confident or rigid and authoritarian? And so we're not saying don't explore your options. What we're saying is if you want that relationship that we all dream of having, that's why we have horses, first and foremost, make the commitment.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put as much time in learning as I expect my horse to do.
Yeah.
and then set out on the quest to find your person that becomes your mentor, your teacher, your coach, whatever they call themselves.
And I think understanding your own learning style is really important in this because the teaching, you can have phenomenal horse people that are really academic, heady teachers. And for me, that is hard to consume. I'm very hands-on, I'm very practical, I'm very let's keep it light, let's keep it fun. I followed Carson James and did multiple clinics with him and multiple, like, I really latched onto him early in my horsemanship journey because he's a very good teacher for me and my learning style. And, I'd had instructors and other clinicians and other people say very similar things as him that hadn't dropped in. And so I studied him really hard for like 4 years and still use many of his teachings or whatever you would want to call them today because I clicked with his teaching style. So that is important. If you can really, really enjoy someone as a horse person, but if you're struggling to learn from them just because their teaching style doesn't match with your learning style, that's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will make or break you,
Yeah.
really. Because if you're confused or frustrated or anxious or preoccupied on what did they just say? What did that mean?
Yeah.
Your horse feels that. And then your horse can't be present in the moment because you can't be present in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Yes, we all get nervous learning. And yeah, we all kind of get a little anxious when we're trying something new. I mean, I started this attitude as a veterinary technician. I vowed to never forget what it felt like to be the client, to be the
That's good.
person handing my pet over
Hmm.
to the person on the other side of the counter. Because when I took my first deaf puppy into being neutered, I did all the paperwork. I'm holding him. He's deaf. He can't hear, right? I'd wanted a puppy, a dog all my life. Here I am, a young adult. And they go, okay. And they came around and literally pulled him out of my arms. I mean, I didn't even get to kiss him goodbye or nothing. And I'm like, oh, and off they went behind the closed door. So when I became a vet tech, I never forgot that. And I've done the same thing as a horsemanship mentor. The first time I teach someone how to safely walk beside their horse, I'll never forget how awkward it was for me. Or when I teach them how to first use a new tool and they're stumbling and fumbling and all anxious about it. I was that person once upon a time. And for me, a good mentor never forgets that. A good mentor never stops being a student because there's something important about that human connection between a student and a mentor or a coach or a teacher that I want to know that you have walked the talk. I want my students to know that I was once exactly where they're standing. And for me, if I were to leave you with one piece of advice, it would be that. Is you want a teacher or a mentor or a coach who is still a student, who understands what it's like to be on both sides of the coin. Yes, we're an
Who you
expert.
feel safe making a mistake in front of.
Yes.
Who you
Yes.
can be like, I'm being messy right now because I'm trying to figure this out. And they will hold the space for you in that instead of piling on anxiety, shame, whatever.
That you feel safe enough to say, I'm sorry, but I don't understand.
Yes. And you can communicate back from. My clients get a freaking earful if I show up and they say, "Oh, he was lame last week." I say, "Why didn't I get a text from you last week?" That's not okay. Video, photos, immediate text message. You do not get to hang out wondering what's wrong with your horse for a week. I know immediately. And maybe that doesn't make them feel safe because I'm like, excuse you, what the hell? But it's because I want to know exactly when it happened, the environment it happened in. Like, I want all the information now so that I can help you. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know I was allowed to bother you. I'm like, no, when I said at the beginning of our relationship, more communication is better than less, I meant it.
And so what
Because
I
I
hear
can't help
Laura
you unless you
saying,
ask for my
right,
help. Yes.
I hear Laura
Yeah.
saying is you have permission to reach out. I
Right.
am available.
Yes.
I when I have had students who work with me for 2, 3, I have one who's been with me for 8 years, and it's been an amazing journey. And it's not uncommon to hear one of them say, you say that all the time. Am I ever going to learn it? Am I ever going to get it? Am I stupid? And my response with my heart wide open is, I am willing to say it as many times
Yeah.
as it takes for you, how many times you need to hear it. And one day it's going to drop in. And
Yeah.
then I share the example of, I said the same thing to my mentor, like, damn it, you say that every lesson. And the response was, it's that important. And I'm willing to share it as many times as you need to hear it. And there were times that 5 years down the road, by myself, working with a horse, I heard it in my head and I got it. Or I heard it in my head and I got it even deeper. And to me, that's the difference between a good mentor and one who's just teaching,
Yeah.
is that we have the patience and the willingness to keep sharing and sharing and sharing.
Yeah. And really, truly tracking your students' progress and being willing to have a conversation when something is stagnated. Like on the instructor's side, oftentimes we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Like for me, it's central sulcus cracks. I can make it so it won't happen again, but I cannot heal the one that is there. You have to put the meds in the foot when I'm not there. And when it's not happening, my warm and fuzzy self who doesn't want to upset somebody wants to say, well, you had a really hard 6 weeks and this happened in your life and that happened in your week and it's okay. But in reality, it's like your horse is having heel pain and they're going to keep having heel pain until you fix this. So, like, what do we need to do to make this successful for you? Do you need to ask for some help at the barn? Is he slamming his foot down because it hurts? So, we need to figure out a way to help you feel safe doing this. Like, go to the heart of the problem and talk about it with love. Don't just make people feel good because and I think there's a little bit of that happens. They're like, oh, they're trying really hard. But in the back of the trainer's mind, they're like, a person's never going to be successful with this because they don't got it. But it's like, no, it's your job to figure out where they're failing, gently point their awareness toward that, and find solutions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when it comes, to these programs failing, these training relationships failing, I think the only innocent being in the equation is the horse.
Yeah.
I think that the professional and the person paying the professional really need to have clarity on what they're doing and why they're doing it and how it's impacting the desired outcome.
Yep.
Because after all, it's supposed to be teamwork.
Yeah. And you are the expert on your horse. You need to be trying the hardest out of everyone.
Yeah.
If you're expecting it to fall in your lap, you're going to spend a lot of money for a lot of mediocre results. There is no replacement for putting in the time, figuring it out, doing it.
The commitment.
Yeah.
Anything that's worth experiencing is is only going to be worth it because you've put in the time and the commitment.
Yeah.
You can have the heart and desire, but that won't give you the outcome
Yeah.
without the commitment. I even had that experience with Rocky yesterday. You know, I hadn't done anything with him since the beginning of May. And even, I have not ridden that horse for a year as of May. This is a horse that was a police horse. This was a horse who had great work ethics.
Mm-hmm.
And I was out there, but the horse, he's also a horse who's had zero groundwork. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to do groundwork with him, and he looks at me like, am I
What
in
the heck?
freaking kindergarten? And I'm like, well, you cannot give me a lateral bend correctly or confidently or softly. So yeah, right now you're in kindergarten. I know I can probably fire an arrow off your back with no problem, but you got to be able to give me a lateral bend on the ground, buddy.
Yeah.
And I found myself kind of like having a higher expectation of his ability.
Because he's done so much and seen so much. Totally.
And he's so
Yeah.
well trained, right? And then I had to pull back and stop and just breathe and get present and grounded and say, we are literally getting reacquainted.
Yeah.
Because the person I was a year ago, May,
Is
and the horse he was a year ago, May, we are not the same individuals. There has been too much that's happened. And so it really became so clear to me yesterday that all I'm doing with my herd right now is re-establishing our connection, focusing merely on our relationship, like, hey, how are you? That was a shit show. We're home. Do I feel like I'm at home? You're beginning to feel like you're at home, you know? And it made me realize if I, who teach, drop into that expectation of what he should be able to do after all this time and everything that's transpired. And I know what I know, there's so many people out there that don't know. I take it as a personal responsibility for those that I work with to help awaken their awareness to that simple fact. I can't hop on load Rocky up and take him out to a trail right now
yeah.
because that is going to be putting our partnership to the full task, you know?
Mhm.
I can't do that to us before I spend time in the arena just bonding with him again,
Yep.
which is different than bonding with him in the pasture.
Yeah,
You
when you
know?
take him out of his environment, and the arena is a doing place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we took our horses to just an open obstacle day last weekend. And as we're pulling the trailer out of the property, I'm like, I haven't taken MJ to a structured arena day since 2023.
Mm.
And my friend, who has literally been in partnership with her horse for 20 years, is like, yeah, we haven't done anything, I think, probably since that time either. If we ride today, that's great. If we don't ride today, that's fine. I don't care. We're just going to go have a fun day. And I'm like, yeah, that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go have a fun day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All expectations down. And MJ was scared of a pony. And then once we got her confident around the pony, she was a little embarrassed. And I spent more time on the ground than I did in the saddle, but I rode through all the obstacles still and had a great day. And those horses were like happy when they got home because they were like, man, we haven't done something like that in a long time. And that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, now we're looking for more opportunities to do stuff like that because it's so good for your relationship when you go into it with realistic expectations for where you're at right now. If you want to have a great day with your horse, no matter what you're doing, just drop all expectations.
Isn't that a golden rule for life?
Yeah. Um,
I
and
have
just
my
like they'll show you the coolest stuff. Like,
I have my first client coming here to the ranch tomorrow. And she has a horse she got from the auction who has visible spur scars. And he gets so anxious when somebody gets on him that he just wants to go, go, go.
yeah.
And so I explained to her, we start on the ground. And if you can't do it on the ground, we're not going to get it done in the saddle. And you could tell that she was like, well, I really want to ride. And then she finally said, well, there's a gal here that does Liberty work. And I've worked with her some bits. So he's really good on the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, but is he really? Do you really understand what you're looking for?
Liberty work is beautiful and fun and amazing and great, but it's not really preparing you for the saddle.
Right. And there's so many holes. I mean, the only time that I work with a horse at Liberty is to find out where my holes are
Right.
online and in the saddle. Because if I can't do it at Liberty, then it's most likely not happening very well on those. But anyway, I made it very clear to her that she's coming to a new place. There's new horses. We don't know each other. And we're going to take it slow. We want to help him realize that this is just not the same old thing that's always happened to him.
Right. We have to change the pattern in his brain, otherwise he's not going to stop doing what he's doing.
Right. And she's a therapist and she seemed to get that. And she said, he just when I like put any contact on the bit, he gets worried. When I try to squeeze to go forward, he gets worried. And she goes, I find myself avoiding going out and riding him. And I don't want to be that way. So I'm super excited to be able to hopefully help the two of them interrupt their patterns of sympathetic nervous system anxiety,
Right.
fight or flight. This is just going to be like it's always been, and help her to read him better. And yes, we are going to start on the ground, but tomorrow is not going to be a lot happening, which may to an unknowing person look like, wow, I just wasted my time. But Laura and I know what I want to do is help that horse and that human come in here and breathe and feel grounded and begin to regulate themselves and through each other before we actually start working on the partnership. And I'm hoping that she's committed to the journey.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard for people like Laura and I to be as passionate as we are when we meet clients who are looking for the quick fix.
Yeah, it is.
because that's not what we do.
It's not. I've never seen a quick fix last.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Those quick fixes are usually the ones that end up in really bad wrecks.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, we hope this kind of gave you some inspiration and some more concrete, like, okay, I know I have to be the expert on my horse, but what does that look like? It looks like spending a boatload of time with them, listening to your gut, and having a kick-ass team on board to support you.
I have never met a solid partnership that was built in a year.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even like MJ after a year. I was still like, oh, I'm just training her for my husband.
Yeah. The ones that I look at them and go, wow, that is a remarkable team. And not only are they good at what they're doing, but they love what they're doing. They're in harmony, they're in rhythm, they're connected. They've been at it for at least 3 years,
Yeah.
if not longer.
And it's such a beautiful thing to think about because it's like it just gets better.
Mm-hmm. It's like marriage.
Yeah.
It's like a partnership. It's like any relationship that's you put the time and the commitment into. Oh.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about the topics covered in this episode, send us a message on our Facebook page, Holistic Horsemanship and Husbandry, and we will answer your question in a post on our page. You will be anonymous. We'll just take the question and provide our input, and we want to do it on the post so that we can all learn and grow together, because nobody knows everything. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. We want to remind you that we'll be here every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, following the golden rule. Have a plan, but always be willing to be flexible. Don't forget to connect with us using the links in the show notes below.
If you learned something new today, had an aha, or walked away with a valuable nugget, you can say thanks by leaving us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on.